Hello, I'm Narendra, and today I'm going to talk about the meaning and significance of Onam. The story of Onam goes back to the Bhagavad Puran, where we have this great powerful king Mahabali who has conquered the three worlds and has displaced the gods from their thrones. The gods go crying to their mother Aditi that, Mother, please save us from this danger. And Aditi prays and meditates on Vishnu, and Vishnu agrees to come as a son to Aditi. And in due time, Vishnu is born as the Vamana to Aditi and to his father Rishi Kashyap. Now, this King Mahabali, he was very powerful, but he was also very generous, and he had this, annual ritual of giving away gifts to the Brahmins. He was all that. He was powerful, but he was very generous and very giving and all. So, what happened is Vishnu goes to a particular ritual that he was performing. He was performing the Ashwamedh Yajna actually, and he was giving away gifts to all the Brahmins. Vishnu appears there as the Vamana, a dwarf form with his umbrella, with a kamandul, as you know, water pot. And he stands there, and naturally the king asks him that, yes, my lord, what do you want? And he said, my demand is very small. I just want land measured in 3 of my paces. I would take 3 steps, and whatever land is covered in those 3 steps, that much land I want. So the king said, well, this is a very paltry demand. So ask for more. I have a lot of land. I can give you a lot more land. But the Vamana says, no, only this much land. Land covered by 3 of my paces. Then immediately Mahabali agrees to it. But Shukracharya, his guru, who was present nearby, he said, don't do this. This Vamana is not actually a Vamana. He is Vishnu himself. He has come to take away and deceive you out of your property, out of your kingdoms. And he is going to give it to the gods. He has come here to rob you. Don't do this. But then Mahabali was a very just person who never went back on his words. He said, no, already I have promised. So I can't go back on my word. And he was very proud also at the same time. And he was feeling proud that Vishnu himself has come to him to beg for some land. So he gives his ritual consent to that promise by washing his hands. As you know, before doing any auspicious work, we wash our hands. In the similar manner, Mahabali washes his hands, and he is ready for making the gift. And as soon as he does that, the pygmy form of the Vamana starts growing and becomes a gigantic form straddling the earth and the skies. And Mahabali is wonderstruck. He is in awe of this form. He sees this Vamana has grown and he's having his head in the skies. So in 2 steps, Vishnu covers the earth and the skies. And then he asks the king, O generous king, you had promised me 3 steps. So where do I put my 3rd step now? 2 steps, the earth and the heavens have been covered. Then Mahabali kind of surrenders and he says, my lord, put your 3rd step on my head, because I deserve to be under your feet only. So the Lord places his 3rd step on the head of Mahabali and he pushes him into the netherworld, or Patal Lok as we call it in our mythology. And he gives Bali the power to rule over the Patal Lok, the netherworld. He gives him dominion of that. Because Mahabali was he was a good king, he was a generous king, so he could not be killed like the other asuras in battle. So some Vishnu had to think of some other way to regain the kingdoms of the gods. And though Vishnu kind of sends Mahabali into the netherworld, into the underworld, he allows Mahabali to return to his people once a year and celebrate the good time with his people. And this annual return of Mahabali to his own people, to his own prajas, is celebrated as Onam in Kerala. And the festival goes on for 10 days. A whole lot of festivities are carried out. One is they lay out floral carpets on the households, bed of flowers in front of their doors to welcome Mahabali. That is one ritual they perform. Then they have this grand vegetarian feast on banana leaves where more than 20-25 items are prepared. That is another part of that custom. Then they have these famous snake boat races, which you must have seen, which are held in the backwaters of Kerala. Then they have something called Pulikali. It's a folk art where men dress up as tigers and hunters and they dance. So several kinds of celebrations are there, which goes on for 10 days, which is a celebration of the return of Mahabali to his own people. And also Onam kind of it's the official ending of the monsoon season and the beginning of the harvest festival when the crops are harvested. So that is the significance of Onam. But symbolically, the story of Mahabali is actually a lesson that destruction of haughtiness and arrogance and the importance of humility. These are the lessons that are there, that you should not become too proud and arrogant of your possessions and of your kingdom, of your rule, because that would invite the divine retribution and the divine balancing act. When you become too big for your shoes and you kind of that kind of self-aggrandizement, so that is not how it should be. You should have humility, and the Lord can surprise us in the most unexpected manner. Who could imagine that promising something to a dwarf Brahmin, he's asking for 3 steps of land? So who could have imagined that would lead to such a calamity? So it looked so harmless and innocuous, but the Asuric vision, it cannot see beyond the appearances. It only sees what is there in front of the vision. And though the Guru Shukracharya warns him that no, this is Vishnu, this is not this dwarf Brahmin you are seeing, but the Asuric vision cannot see beyond that. And also the lesson that all our possessions, all our kingdoms, they are all transient. Nothing is permanent in this world. All of them can be snatched by the Lord in a moment. Shankara says, Harati Nimeshat Kala Sarva. Kala, time can snatch away everything in a moment. So it is that. So it's also a lesson that we should cultivate detachment towards our possessions, because nothing is permanent in this world. And this is the story of Mahabali and the significance of Onam. Thank you very much for watching.